Question number 15. What does the writer communicate by quoting Lovestone in the first paragraph? Option A. The characteristic symptoms of Alzheimer's disease are still unclear. Scientists are better than clinicians in handling Alzheimer's disease. The treatments available for Alzheimer's are not much effective. Clinicians find it difficult to deal with Alzheimer's patients. And make sure you understand the options very well and you underline the major keywords of the options. Now we move to the passage. You can see that the word information Lovestone in the first sentence itself. According to the passage, it is defined by a progressive loss of cognition and an ability to function in the daily world. To me as a clinician, Alzheimer's disease is a patient before me with a set of characteristic symptoms who I am currently unable to help very much. And as per the passage, you can understand that the Alzheimer's patient means and he has lot of characteristic symptoms and the clinician understood those symptoms very well. Whereas in the option A, it is talking that the characteristic symptoms of Alzheimer's disease are still unclear, whereas the passage, it is clear to the clinician. In the last sentence, you can see that to me as a clinician, Alzheimer's disease is a patient before me with a set of characteristic symptoms who I am currently unable to very much. Option B is talking about scientists are better than clinicians in handling Alzheimer's disease. There is no comparison in the passage. Whereas in the D option, clinicians find it difficult to deal with Alzheimer's patients, but they face any kind of difficulty, there is no information in the passage. So option D also will be eliminated. And the C option, the treatments available for Alzheimer's are not much effective. And already we know that whenever there is proper treatment, the clinician can help a patient very much. When there is no treatment, a clinician cannot help much. And here, as per the passage, the last part of the sentence, I am unable to help very much because he doesn't have proper treatment available. So I hope that you understand the answer clearly from my explanation. Now we move to question number 16. What is true about drugs like Aricept according to the second paragraph? Option A. They fail to have any effect on the patients. They prove to be the simplest possible solution to Alzheimer's disease. No new drug has been developed since their introduction. They are inferior to the current Alzheimer's treatment. Make sure you understand the options and underline the main keywords of the options. Now we move to the passage. In the second paragraph, you get the information. Mostly at the end, you can concentrate. You can concentrate the sentence from it would have been a relatively simple solution to Alzheimer's disease if it had worked. If it works only, it is the simplest solution. If it is not working, it may not be simple solution. So option B, it is talking about they proved and there is no information, it is proved or not proved. And no new drug has been developed since introduction, there is no information in the passage. And option A, they failed to have any effect on the patient. That information also we cannot find in the passage. And option D, they are not inferior to the current Alzheimer's treatment. And the last sentence of the paragraph, you can see, and yet still there is no better treatment available today than these imperfect drugs. What is the meaning of imperfect drugs? Imperfect means whenever there is a bit perfect, we say imperfect. If it is not only perfect, we usually use not perfect. And here the word is used imperfect. It means not inferior. It means that it is not at all bad. It gives some kind of benefits to the patient. So that's why D option is they are not inferior to the current Alzheimer's treatment. and there is no other drug available, and this is not at all bad. It gives some kind of benefit to the patient. So I hope it is clear to you. Now we move to question number 17. Actually, the 17, what does the word which refers to in the third paragraph? Helical filaments, tau, cell, a protein. And you will get the answer directly in the passage itself. And the sentence is, in Alzheimer's disease, tau moves to the wrong part of the cell, folds over on itself, and forms helical filaments, which then build up as tangles. And the answer is quite direct, helical filaments, which then build. So it is actually doesn't require any kind of explanation. Now we move to question number 18. What happened to the amyloid hypothesis according to the fifth paragraph? Option A, the drugs based on the hypothesis generally proved ineffective. Not many drugs based on this theory were developed to deal with amyloid beta. Drugs designed to work on amyloid beta were found having adverse side effects and withdrawn. Despite the failure of the drugs, most researchers believe in the hypothesis. Already you know that option A is the right answer, whereas the option B, not many drugs based on this theory were developed to deal with amyloid beta. Whereas in the passage of the dozens of drugs that have been tested at that time. In the option, not many drugs, whereas in the passage, dozens of drugs have been tested. So B is wrong. Drugs designed to work on amyloid beta were found having adverse side effects and withdrawn. Here in the passage you will get the information of the dozens of drugs that have been tested in that time, somehow withdrawn because of detrimental side effects. Amyloid beta, it has not been withdrawn. Other drugs have been withdrawn. So C is also not the right answer. Despite the failure of drugs, most researchers believe in the hypothesis. And where the passage, the failure of these drugs does not necessarily mean the amyloid hypothesis is wrong. So there is no other information regarding most researchers believe or do not believe. And once we move to A option, as per the paragraph, it would have been a relatively simple solution to Alzheimer's disease if it had worked. In the last 15 years or so, drug after drug designed to work on amyloid beta has failed to provide enough benefit to enough patients to be considered effective. It means that the drug has failed to provide enough benefits. It means that even there are suppose 10 patients, the drug has failed to provide the required benefits to the 10 patients to be considered effective, where it has failed. So if it has given 100% benefits to 10 patients, we can consider it is effective, whereas it is failed to provide enough benefits to be considered effective. So that's why the drugs based on this hypothesis generally proved ineffective. Means larger majority, if they get the benefits, we can say or we can consider it is beneficial, whereas it failed to provide enough benefits. So that's why A is the right answer. Question number 19. What does Hardy say about the failure of drugs based on amyloid hypothesis in the fifth paragraph? Option A, the hypothesis needs to be considered considerably more complex to include all the variables. Reaching a logical conclusion from the drug trials is nearly impossible. There is no way to know why the drug trials failed. Option D, the hypothesis has proved itself a work of imagination. Make sure you understand the keywords and underline the keywords properly. And here the question, there is a speciality than all questions. Here option B is talking about reaching a logical conclusion from the drug trials is nearly impossible. When you go through the reading, whenever there is option reaching a logical conclusion, it means that we cannot reach exact conclusion if there is such kind of option related to conclusion or inconclusive. Such option will be the right answer. You can check with other questions in different passages. Once you get the same type of question regarding the conclusion or inconclusive, that will be the right answer. And once you move to the passage, you will get the information, the last sentence of the paragraph. But the drug trials have not given a clear answer to Hardy's for obvious frustration. Therefore, the summary of all those trials is we really don't know. It is like reading tea leaves. First sentence, but the drug trials have not given a clear answer. Once you get the clear answer, we can reach conclusion. Once you do not have clear answer, we cannot reach a conclusion. Second sentence, summary. Summary means already you know that it is conclusion. So that is also the second reason. Reaching a logical conclusion from the trials is nearly impossible. So that's why B is the right answer. All other options can be eliminated very easily. Which of the following is the writer's opinion about Vistix's drug in the sixth paragraph? Question number 20. Option, the drug requires fine-tuning before it is made commercially available. B, its success means disappearance of amyloid framework. C, there should be large-scale studies to reach a definite conclusion regarding the efficacy of it. It will provide a meaningful direction to Alzheimer's research. Second last paragraph, last sentence. If Vistix's tau proves successful, he will claim victory in the amyloid versus tau war. At last, there will be something to work with. From the sentence, you can understand that Vistix's tau proves successful. It means, from the sentence, you can understand that if the tau drug proves successful, usually all the people or all the clinicians suggest this particular medicine. Already we know that from the previous paragraphs, amyloid is not a right solution, it is an imperfect drug. So, once we have a perfect drug like tau, the amyloid will be completely wiped out or forgotten by the people and clinicians. So, nobody uses it anymore. Automatically, the medicine will be out from market. So that's why we got B as the right answer. Its success means disappearance of the amyloid framework. I hope you understand the answers very clear. Question number 21. What is meant by the phrase just round the corner from the exit in the last paragraph? Moving in the opposite direction, near completion, trapped in a spiral of questions, unable to find a way out despite being very close. And once you move to the last paragraph, you may not understand properly what is said in the paragraph. Whereas once you understand the meaning of the phrase just round the corner from the exit, it means that you are very close to the corner. And once you move to the options, moving in the opposite direction, we already reached at the exit. It doesn't mean that we are in the opposite direction. And C option, trapped in a spiral of questions. And there is no trap because we are already very close to the exit. And the D option, unable to find the way out despite being very close. And there is no information despite it is actually despite very close, but unable to find the way, we cannot move to that particular option. And the most suitable option is near completion because it is very close to the exit, or we are very close to the exit. Now, question number 22. Which of the following most accurately describes the writer's response towards Alzheimer's enigma in the last paragraph? Option A, optimistic, pessimistic, philosophical, and D, frustrated. The last sentence is talking about the only course is to follow every possible thread, hopping each time. This will be the clue that leads us out. What does it mean? Hopping each time means every moment he thinks this is the clue. And there is no information, any negative attitude here. In each time they think hopping, this is the clue that leads out. Always he thinks hopping each time that this will be the clue that leads us out. There is no any information about any negative thought. Always thinks positively. And what is the meaning of option A, optimistic? Already we know that he thinks positively, whereas whenever any kind of issue, he thinks negatively. That's why there is pessimist option. Whereas in the option C, philosophical, the philosophical attitude means doesn't think negatively, always positive. Hopping each time means it is positive always. And there is no any kind of frustration is given in the last sentences of the passage. So we reach the answer philosophical. Make sure you understand the options and you understand the meaning of each option clearly, because these words are repeated. You will come across these words again in next readings. Thank you very much. This is the end of our first session and we move to next reading quite soon.